Firstly, I think it's important to acknowledge that we do have a challenge. A number of students do face the possibility of that level of hardship, and so the first thing is to acknowledge that. Secondly, to say that we do have a number of measures in place to assist students to the best of our ability. Firstly, is to mention that we are not charging interest on the fees from last year, and we've agreed that we won't charge interest on fees again for this year. Secondly, students who owe the university less than 10,000 Rand are allowed to register and can thus continue with their studies in that sense. For those with outstanding debt, the concession is made that they are able, if they are able to pay 50% of what they owe from the previous year, that they would then be able to register. We've also started what we call a hardship fund. And in that fund, we've put around 10 million Rand to be able to assist students, particularly with hardships. And it's on a case-by-case basis. So a student can apply and say, for whatever reason, I'm not able to pull the fees together, and we are then able to assist them. This is within a context where from the council funds, we put just under 100 million aside every year to assist students. And of course, we administer around R1 billion in sponsorships and funding as well. So from the institution side, there's the concessions that we've made together with a fund that we started to try and assist as many students as we possibly can.
Speaking to the SRC, and as much as they acknowledge the measures that you have put down, it's clearly not enough. The request that they've made to you is for you to increase the threshold of from 10,000 Rand to 150,000 Rand, allowing students who owe that or less to be able to register. Clearly, that's a really real need on their side. Why is it that you're not considering this?
We are. In terms of the hardship fund, it is precisely, I mean, the threshold there is in fact up to 120,000 Rand. So if you owe up to 120,000 Rand, you apply for assistance. We assist you with 50% of the money, and you are able to register. But we must also understand this in terms of a broader context. The university is dependent on these funding sources to be able to sustain its operations. So we get money from government. There's the student fees, there's sponsorships, and so on that comes in. But I must also mention that in terms of the longer term plans, in terms of what we are doing, we've also started a centenary campaign where we are trying to raise as much money as possible so that into the future, we do not have this particular challenge. So what we're asking for is in fact a partnership, that we work together on finding the best ways to solve this. At the end of the day, we are unfortunately not in a position to write off the debt and to say we can simply increase the thresholds. But what we have put in place is the fund to assist students, is the 10,000 concession. It is no interest on last year and no interest on this coming year.
It is an extraordinary situation that we find ourselves in. Last year was pretty much written off due to COVID-19. While you're putting together the measures, do you consider that these are actually extraordinary times?
It is extraordinary times, and that is precisely why we have to put this in place. And what we're asking every student to do who finds themselves in a difficult position is to come forward, apply for hardship consideration, and where we are able to assist, we certainly will.
And what kind of relationship are you enjoying with government as well as business in your fundraising efforts?
So we work particularly closely with business, with private individuals in terms of fundraising. There is often a good response. We, of course, there's a bigger need, and so we ask for further assistance. In terms of government support, of course, we do get the support in terms of subsidy, although in real terms, that has gone down, given, I suspect, the broader economic impact. But of course, we have a number of students on the government funding scheme, NSFAS, and in terms of those students, the government have come forward in terms of assisting them.
We'll leave it at that for now, Mr. September. Thank you so much for your time. That's Wits Dean of Students, Mr. Jerome September.